Good morning and welcome to the Elevate Renatus team call. This is your host, Keely Austin. Today is Wednesday, July 8th. Happy Wealth Wednesday, everyone. Happy to have you here with us this morning. Today we get to learn from Daine Clark. Daine Clark is such an amazing individual. I really love his style of training. He's incredibly sharp and what he is doing is working. And so listen closely to what Daine has to say. And if you haven't heard any of his previous trainings, there's a ton of them on the YouTube channel. So just search for Daine Clark, Elevate Renatus on YouTube. You'll find all of his trainings and they're all phenomenal. So I definitely recommend going back and listening to his trainings. A little of Daine's history: before Renatus, he was working two jobs. He was working for both Apple and as a roofer. For Apple, he was actually kind of shy. They had him working in the back, counting cell phones, not necessarily out in the front talking to people, because Daine was not necessarily the best people person. But now, if we look at him today, it's just incredible the growth that has happened. And I would never have seen Daine today and thought that he was ever a shy person. As a roofer, he was doing that because that's what his dad did. And being in the sun all day with fair skin and red hair was certainly not Daine's cup of tea. At the time, he was barely making ends meet, so he started to look for other income opportunities, and he found Renatus. He plugged into the system and listened to his mentor and applied the velocity banking to pay down debt. And then he used that as leverage, as a down payment on a duplex. He lived in one side of the duplex and rented out the other side. Such a smart strategy there. Fast forward to today, Daine has raised over $12 million on various real estate transactions from various investors. And his secret to that is consistency and frequency. He has grown his team and is known as a key leader, recognized as a key leader by Bob Snyder, our CEO, as well as a PIT team member. He's on the PIT, meaning President's Advisory Council in training. We're so fortunate to get to learn from Daine this morning. Good morning, Daine. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you so much, Keely. I appreciate you doing this for all of us every single week, getting everything ready to go and practicing your own presenting skills. But before I start, I've actually got Ryan Black in the house today. So, and he's got some announcements that he would love to share. We as a leadership team have been working around the clock to adjust to what's going on and help everybody make money. And so in fact, Ryan, go ahead and come out off of mute. Ryan's going to share some things that we've been working on, and really I should give Ryan the credit for what he's about to share. He put a lot of this stuff together because this guy got skills. He got bow staff skills. So Ryan, are you able to come off of mute already, brother?
Nunchuck skills, bow staff
skills. Aha, yes.
But we actually were watching that movie last night, so it's funny that you mentioned that.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
All right,
thanks,
go
Daine.
ahead, brother.
Yeah. Hey, good morning, guys. And this is gonna be real quick because I don't want to take from the time of our training this morning. But do I have ability to share my screen? Let's give it a shot. Yes, I do. Awesome.
Go ahead.
So here, guys, what I just wanted to show is we've got, through COVID, obviously there's been some learning curves and we've gone through different things to figure out really what works. We've tried some things that have worked and some things that haven't worked. But now we have got to the point where we really have gotten a lot of the bugs worked out, and we call it version 2.0. And so this
Classic entrepreneur.
Exactly 2.0. So it's very, very simple. Okay. We are still, of course, everything, what Keely said on the calendar, just search up Laura Black on the calendar to find events that are hosted by us. And then you simply, you've got the English house tour, which is actually tonight. So we invite you to plug into that. English house tour tonight, Spanish house tour tomorrow night, as well as all the online meetings tomorrow night as well. And so it's very simple. You register as usual on the calendar. And then when inviting your guests or for your own personal attendance, simply go to Team Elevate USA. That's it. TeamElevateUSA.com. Team Elevate USA. In fact, I will throw that into the chat so that everybody has that. They can just copy and paste it. Team Elevate USA. So when you come to the site, it's a very simple site, very easy. It's just a single page. It's got a little information about our group and who we are. And then you've got the events. So we've got, first off, our live house tours. We have one in English and one in Spanish. And every event has an image, has a description, and the information of when the event is going to occur. So this is every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, and who is welcome to attend, in this case, everyone. And so we have those. In order to participate, all you have to do is come to this website at the correct time, teamelevateusa.com, and then click on either the name of the event or the image, and that will pop you right into the meeting registration page for Zoom. Throw in your info, click join, and you join the meeting, right? So very, very simple. We've got those events. We've got also our online events. So we've got the Pillars of Wealth workshop. We've got our follow-up and funding workshop, as well as our onboarding class. So everything is here. And what the thought process with this is, there was confusion about which URL do I send, and I just one URL. Then your guests are going to be able to, when they see this, they're going to see the breadth of all the incredible offerings that we have every week in our wonderful nationwide community and all this stuff that's available. So you're going to want to, as an ICM, make sure that you are providing them with some direction. So, if they're coming to, let's say for the Pillars of Wealth, you let them know, okay, here's the link, Team Elevate USA. You're going to see we've got a ton of different classes going on. And I know you're probably going to want to go in all of them, but this Thursday, you're going to want to go into the Pillars of Wealth first, all right? Or whatever room it is that they're going to attend. Let them know which one they're in. And you can also mention, hey, there are some student-only rooms, and those ones do have a password requirement. So if you try to go in them, they won't let you in because you don't have the password. So just want to make sure you let them know so that they don't get confused. Should be pretty straightforward, but it even says here, and please note some of the rooms are for community members only. So we've got the different events I can go through here, and then we've got the study groups. So on the study groups, I'm excited about this. We have currently 7 study groups. So we have added a ton of new study groups. We've added a ton of new facilitators. And so we're so grateful for all those who are pitching in and contributing to really take our study groups to the next level. So the study group lineup that we now have is we got fix and flip, we've got multifamily, we have short-term rental, we have wholesaling, we have essentials in English, essentials in Spanish, and then we have a biz dev, a business development study group. And so how it works with these is all of these study groups are actually on a 12-week cycle. And so there will be 12 different, kind of like a curriculum where we follow through a specific order of classes, and then that will repeat after it's gone through the cycle. The cool thing is anyone and everyone, as you guys know, in order to participate in the more advanced study groups, which are, all of them except for the essentials, those study groups, in order to participate, obviously you have to have your education, and you also need to be on the OES, or the optional event subscription. We want to ensure that everyone from the day one, as soon as they're getting started, is able to plug in, connect, and start implementing the strategies that they're learning. And so we have here the essential study groups, the 2 essential study groups. Those are on a continuous 12-week loop where you're actually going to be practicing and making the rubber hit the road and implementing those financial strategies that you're learning in essentials, like paying your kids and the tax and the legal and the credit and the self-directing your retirement plan, all that good stuff. You're going to be going through that in the essentials group and putting it into practice, getting your velocity banking set up, et cetera. For the essentials groups, we actually have a unique code for that. And so let me just throw that here in the chat. Oops, wrong code. Let's try this again. There we go. So the code is Renatus number 1. So that's basically anybody, and please don't share this code with guests, because then guests will get in the study group. The idea is you've got to be an education holder, and then once you are, then you could provide that code Renatus number 1, which will allow access or entry into the essential study groups, and those only. In order to get into the advanced ones, when you are subscribed to the OES, you'll receive a promo code, and that promo code will change every month, and that promo code will grant you access into the advanced ones. But for the essential study group, anybody that is in the community, you're welcome to plug into that essentials. Renatus number 1 is the code, and go through that 12-week. The idea is, getting through there, implementing all those strategies, and then in the future, then you can kind of graduate, as it were, into the more advanced ones and really start implementing those investing strategies. So we've got all those. And then this business development is incredible. This is actually going to be run by our fellow PAC member, Dr. G. Dr. Gary Lawrence will be supporting us with this business development study group. And so we're looking forward to learning from him and from his experience and strategies as far as growing a strong marketing business. And then we've got information. So if you're wondering who are all the faces behind the microphones, these are all the folks that are currently helping us make all these incredible things happen in our community. So we thank you guys for your support. And this is it. So hopefully no questions. We are going to go over some more information about this in Super Saturday, but hopefully it's pretty clear and straightforward as to what it is and how it works. Just remember, teamelevateusa.com. Plug in yourself, plug in your guests for any. In order to be on the essential study group, anybody can plug into that. The Renatus.number, or anyone who has their education can plug into that. The OES is, it's important to be able to support, to continue to grow the community. Obviously, a lot of time, a lot of money goes into developing and creating all these resources. So being on the OES is important. It's required for the advanced ones, the advanced study groups, but we want to ensure that everyone is able to implement those strategies and essentials and get them going from the very beginning. So, and then get your guests plugged into all of the guest exposures. And remember, house tour tonight, and tour en español tomorrow. Okay, well, I will be quiet now. Daine, back over to you.
Cool.
Once again, if you guys have questions, check it out on Super Saturday. We will dive a little bit deeper.
Cool. Thank you, Ryan. This is super exciting, man. Super exciting. So, all right, guys, you guys know how I like to do this. So in fact, I may jump us forward just a little bit, but I still want to see, go ahead and text in every single week. If you're new, I'll give you a little explainer, but if you're not new and you know what I like to do every single week, then go ahead and start chiming in on the chat box. I want to know, how many people did you get in front of Renatus events or have real estate investing conversations that would be a perfect opportunity to create a Renatus conversation in the last 7 days? Okay, so I'm talking first exposures, I'm talking follow-ups, I'm talking one-on-ones, I'm talking even like creating the intrigue and booking somebody to a meeting. How many people did you talk to about Renatus essentially in the last 7 days? So go ahead and chime that in to the chat box. I'm going to count them up myself for these last 7 days. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'll chime that in to the chat. Ooh, man, we got tons of comments. Great job, guys. So I had 8. Oh, I just sent that privately. Whoopsies. Cool, let's give some love. So let's see, we got, scrolling. Sherry had a goose egg. Sherry, in fact, I don't want to single you out, but this weekend, July 4th, was an awesome weekend to bring up real estate investing. In fact, I got some cool stories to share with you guys from conversations. My wife and I were out camping in the middle of nowhere, no service, and talked to just a couple of people out there, struck up some real estate investing conversations with people, and it might actually go somewhere. We'll see. Obviously there's no way to create a crystal ball here, but I'll tell you guys the story, and we'll see how this one turns out. I'll let you guys know. But Alinda, One Essentials, nice. She has her first desk on her first. She has her first desk on her first date and a one-on-one. Nice. One Essentials. Great job. Autumn had 3. Myra had 4. Sue had 3. Jenna Manchango, 6 for attendance and 2 follow-ups. Great job. Charles had a goose egg. Doug Cook had 2. Ada had 4. Megan 6. Bobby 1. Alvin 5. Jose 3. LaShawn had 5 guests. Great job. David 2. Noreen had none as well. Just getting back. No worries. Goose eggs happen, and they'll motivate you for next week, right? Keely had 5 conversations, no follow-ups. Carla had 4. Rick had 3. Don't forget the guy at camping, Daine. Oh, this is Joe. Yes, Joe and I had the chance to spend a little time together out in the middle of nowhere, ride some side-by-sides and paddle boards and all kinds of fun stuff in the middle of the forest. Let's see, Giovanni had 9. Holy smokes, 9. And let's see, who's 12? Kim had 12. Great job, Kim. Berta had 1. Alinda did a deal. Great job. Joe had 5. Sherry, at this point for you, Daine, what is the breakdown of your process? Great question, actually. Great question, Sherry. I am like all warm market these days. I post. So if just a little bit here to answer this question of how I'm getting in front of people these days. So my wife and I committed that we would post about real estate, and we do it very uniquely, right? We really just post about how we are helping somebody. So for example, when we bought a house and flipped it, essentially, we really talked about the person that we helped out of that house and told them and tell the story of the person who was in trouble and then turn around and help them get out of their house. And then we, turned it into a little bit of a profit center for ourselves, or somebody else that we helped them buy a house that helped somebody with an underlying problem, vice versa. So or we tell a story of another student, of another person that we're working with. And so really it's just twice a month, we will post some kind of a real estate deal, whether it's done by us or done by somebody else. And the rest of that we just fill in with, hey, doing family stuff and kids are growing and faith and fun and family and finance and so a lot of stuff has been drummed up by me just dripping, like, so that people just know, like, oh yeah, Daine's in real estate. Oh yeah, Daine's in real estate, twice a month. And so a lot of the stuff I'm doing these days is warm market through stuff like that, as well as I do it myself, and I teach my team, hey, you go and you create a lifestyle of every time you open your mouth with somebody, you somehow sneak in real estate investing. And I don't care. I do not care what you say before it. I don't care what you say after it. Literally, I had a conversation. In fact, I think I shared this. I can't remember who I shared this with, but literally I had a conversation with a gentleman that I sold my four-wheeler to, and sold my four-wheeler to this guy, and we were talking. I was delivering the title to his house, really nice house, very, obviously did something for work that did pretty decent. And we just started talking, and I was just like, oh, do you invest? And he's like, what are you talking about? What, because I wanted to start the conversation to investing in real estate. So I said, oh, do you invest? And he's like, what do you mean? Do you invest in real estate? Right. And and that's how I got the conversation started. And boy, like, he lit up and we started talking about it. And he's like, I've always wanted to. Really, I inherited real estate. Anyway, we don't need to finish out that story, but regardless, I don't care where I am, who I'm talking to, what I'm doing. I could be camping on, in the middle of nowhere. And if I meet somebody, the camp host, I will bring up real estate investing for whatever, however, whenever, it doesn't matter. And I teach my team that same thing. And so whenever somebody on my team, I think I've got 10 to 15 ICMs now. And I'm teaching them, hey, this is what you do. This is how you do it. This is how I raised $1 million on accident. This is how I found my first deal almost on accident. And Renatus has paid me probably approaching $750,000 in commissions because I just strike up a real estate conversation and I figure out where the heck it's going to go. I have no idea. Never. I have no idea where it's going to go. And so my team, when they get a live one is how I call it. When they're like, hey, Daine, I think I got a live one. Then I tell them, oh, bring me in and tell them like, hey, if you're interested in this or that, or whatever it is that you said, I got somebody I want you to meet. And it's always that. It's always, I got somebody I want you to meet. And whether that's the Elevate presenter that's going to be speaking on Thursday night. So for example, like if I was going to book somebody to tonight's house tour, I know Ryan Black is going to be doing that. I'm having a conversation with somebody and they're like, oh yeah, I've always wanted to get into real estate. In fact, I've watched other people flip houses and make tons of money. And it seems like all my friends, but this is just stuff that I get from people. I got tons of friends that like, they seem to be doing really well. And everything I can find that they have in common is real estate investing. And so I'd be like, oh my gosh, I got somebody that you want to meet. In fact, let me tell you about Ryan Black, right? I met Ryan Black years and years ago. Years and years. It was like 2, maybe 3 years ago. I met Ryan Black and he started investing in real estate. I mean, this dude paid off his house within the first 12 months, if I remember right, of doing real estate investing. In fact, tonight, he's going to be opening up one of his real estate deals that his team is flipping. And that he's going to break down numbers. He's going to show us how they found it, how they funded it, right? And he's going to, so dude, I would love, in fact, is there anything you're doing tonight at 7 p.m. that you couldn't get out of that you could join us? We're going to be doing it on Zoom over internet. And so you could be anywhere and you could chime in and watch how money is being made on this real estate deal with Ryan Black. And most of the time, people are going to be like, no, I'm not doing anything at 7 p.m. Or I was, but now I'm doing that at 7 p.m. tonight. And so I say, great, yeah, let me get you, right? And so to answer that question, warm market because of how you say it. You just say the words investing in real estate. You're not selling anything. You're not inviting to anything yet. You say the words investing in real estate, and then you just shut up and listen. And you wait until you find somebody. You say that enough times until you find somebody that just gets excited as you are about real estate investing. And then you say, oh my goodness, I got somebody you're going to want to meet. So yeah, there you go, Sherry. Roxanne, 2, I sold in essentials. Great job. Congratulations. Making money. Bob Tierney, 6 appointments after paying off student loans. Post this week. Oh, nice. 6 appointments after the paying off student loans post this past week. Congratulations, brother. Oh yeah, like that's another thing. Like post your incremental progress, right? People love to see the hero's journey. They don't want to see the hero. They want to see the hero's journey. So posting things like, hey, we learned about some banking stuff and we just set a goal to pay off our house in 7 years instead of 30, right? People want to see the hero's journey of what you're doing. So great job, Bobby. You're the man. Tobo had 3, Teresa had 2, Brian had a goose egg, but he called it 0. No worries, brother. Next week, there will be more. Doug Spafford, 2 conversations, 1 no for now. Love it. The not yet box, as we call it. 1 follow-up and 1 one-on-one. Still need to schedule. Great job. Christine, whoa, 20 attended an intro tonight. 22 attended an intro tonight alone. 40 in the last 7 days. Man, Christine, you want money. I can tell. You would like to make some money. Let's see, Sever haven't got back to me yet. their thoughts, researched over the past 2 webinar again. Ask one friend upon another, no show. Ooh, in fact, the thing I want to share today is going to hit on this. One of the gals signing up Friday. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Love to see that, Christine. Ada had 2, and Roy had 3 one-on-ones. Awesome. Oh, Christine says I'm late. She got laid off. Yeah, so she's got nothing to do but make money in her business. All right, this is like forced success. Almost like you need to succeed to feed the family, to put food on the table. So love it, absolutely love it. All right, guys. Now we're half past the hour. Usually I love to have somebody come off and let's give somebody some mentorship, right? Share an experience over the last 7 days that got you stuck. But since time is a little short, I want to share a little story that I know this is going to make me a little vulnerable here. I want to share a little story, and oh, I'm not sure who I got off of mute here. Here, let me mute this. All right, I want to share a little story that kind of impacted me. I mean, this almost like made me want. You ever have those moments where you're like, oh my gosh, like is this even worth it? I'm working. I haven't been paid yet, or I've been paid a little bit, but it doesn't, if somebody were to look from the outside in, it'd probably look like this is not worth it. I'm spinning my wheels. I'm wasting my time, right? This is one of those kind of stories that happened to me. So, and I remember when I first joined Renata, when I first got started, I remember actually thinking of my best friend through high school, right? And like Keely was saying, when I was in high school, I had one friend. Like that was it. I was way too shy to like put myself out there and meet people. We moved right in the middle of middle school, and so it was like going almost to a new high school, brand spanking new. At that age, it's very, very tough. We moved from, let's see, I think it was 3 years. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 years in a row, went to 3 different schools. And so we landed on this one up in the Morgan, Utah, very, very small town, 150 kids in the school. And so I remember just being, anyway, you guys don't need to know this part of the story. But anyway, I meet this one kid because he needed help in math class, and I happened to be very good at math. And so partially because in the previous school, you started math a little bit younger. And so I was like taking the same class for the second time. And so I was like, yeah, I know all this stuff. And so I'm helping this kid, and we became friends. Okay. And so anyway, when I first started Renata, I remember thinking about this person. His name's Taylor. And I said, you know what? I have to share this with Taylor. I mean, all those childhood memories, whatever, like this person means a lot to me. We don't really keep that in touch anymore because I moved this way, he moved that way. He's got, he started a family a little sooner than I did, whatever, but we just don't talk as much anymore. But anyway, so I finally build up enough courage to chat with him, right? This is fairly recently. Finally build up enough courage, and I start telling him, like, oh my gosh, I've been learning all this stuff, and in fact, the real reason we started talking is he texted me because he's watching this, he's watching us do the occasional real estate post, and he's like, Daine, I just sold my house, I've got a bunch of money in the bank, more than I ever have before, and dude, I want to get into real estate, like, let's do this, man. So he texted me that message. And I go, sweet, like, yeah, like I would love, I've been thinking about him ever since I bought Renatus. And I'm just like, dude, I owe it to this guy to share what I've been learning, what I've been doing, my plan. And yeah, I hadn't really made it like gobs of money at that time yet. But regardless, I get excited. I schedule a meeting and I say, yeah, let's do it. And, I'm sending him the intro to Renatus. And I schedule a meeting to go over to his house and, do the one-on-one essentially. And it was funny because he didn't watch the intro. I'm at his house. I'm just, oh shoot. Just like trying to grab at straws. And but I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna sit down and I'll show you the plan, right? And I'll show you the plan. And let me show you what we're doing here. And I do like, you know, the follow up basically, and I try to drop price of Renatus about it. And the first thing he says to me, he's like, when I drop, you know, and I paid $20,000 to you know, join Renatus and do this, and now I'm closing deals and it's starting to feel like it's all worth it. And he says to me, he's like, so Daine, I don't have to pay the 20, is that right? You know, because we're friends. I don't have to pay the 20, right? Like you're not going to make me do that, you know, to start doing this with you, right? And I was just like, well, I want you to get educated too. Like I want you, and he's literally like telling me, like, are you kidding me? Like, you're going to charge me money? And I finally, you know, I show him, you know, some velocity banking, and I'm like, oh man, like, yeah, this could pay for itself, you know, by just doing some velocity banking stuff. And finally at the end, he's like, okay, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. You know, that'll save me tons of money, whatever. They have to do this. So he signs up. He puts his order in that night there at his house, and I drive home. The next morning, right, and this is the one that kind of hurt. The next morning, I get an email from corporate. He had gotten a hold of corporate, sent them a nasty email, and basically said, like, oh, like I'm getting scammed. I don't know who you guys are. You know, Daine did something, and you know, now you guys have like all my personal information, right? And we just put his freaking order in. They used his email. That was it. And anyway, so he's like basically just like slamming me to this company. I have no idea who you guys are. I have no idea what's going on. You know, Daine, you know, you guys got my information, all my personal information, so please like delete everything. I mean, just terrible. Right? It's throwing me under the bus. And dude, that hurt. And I remember, because he was one of those people that I remember originally thinking when I first joined Renatus that I wanted him, as soon as I was successful, I wanted him to be a part of this. I wanted to give him what my plan was, and I wanted, you know, and then by the time I had a little bit of success and he reached out to me, I was like, oh, the time has come for me to share. Right. And you guys probably already heard a bunch of the things that just went wrong anyway. But I would imagine that even if he had gone through the process like anybody else does that actually buys, I still don't think he would have bought. And I want to share a couple of things, because, you know, even though this hurt, and I remember like being really down for a few weeks, and almost thinking like, oh, is this really worth it? I mean, I know, guys, like we all feel this once in a while. I learned something. I learned that, you know what? My future is my future. I'm going to go after what I want to go after. And you know what? What other people choose to do does not affect me. I am here. Like, my purpose is crazy. It's like, I feel like Renatus is like finally gave me some kind of purpose in life. Like I tell people that I found my purpose in life, and people are like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Right? What are you doing? Like, I'm helping people. Right? Yeah, I'm closing real estate deals. Sure. I'm studying to do, you know, bigger deals and better deals and whatever, but I'm helping people. Right? There are so many people that wake up every morning and go to a job every day of their lives that they don't even like, right? And a bunch of studies have showed that a lot of people nowadays actually do like their jobs. But even still, a lot of people wake up every morning and they do something that they would rather do something else. They would rather go and spend time with family, or they'd rather go, you know, off and do this, or go after a passion, or, you know, whatever. It does not always travel the world, right? Some people, they just want to have a little bit nicer place to live that they could, you know, have pride in, or they, you know, a little bit nicer car that's not, you know, 20 years old and has 300,000 miles, right? A lot of people, they just want a little bit better lifestyle. They don't want anything crazy. And I feel like Renatus gave me this purpose to help people get at least one step better, right? I mean, there's so many stories of people that start Renatus and chime in on even just velocity banking. And they go from negative cash flow to positive cash flow just by switching over a bunch of amortized debt into daily simple average lines of credit. And it starts giving them hope. I was on a call listening to Mr. Bob Snyder on Monday this week. And, out in the middle of nowhere, so I had to like drive, 30 minutes, get some service and chime in on the call. And Bob said something that hit me. He said, a lot of people ask me like what I do. I network with a lot of, high, very, very well-paid individuals and whatever. And people ask me, what do you do? And he's like, like a lot of times I say these days that I'm a hope broker. Right? I sell hope. And he started going off on the same thing. And I was like, holy crap, like that's so true. I remember buying Renatus thinking $20,000 was more money than I made in like an 11 month period. And thinking like this better freaking work. But at the same time, I'm watching the other community members and thinking, this is what I want. I want to accomplish what a lot of these guys haven't gone and bought these multi-million-dollar homes and driving Ferraris and yeah, right. I mean, yeah, there's some people that have some nice stuff that are members of Renatus, but a lot of people are just in a much better financial situation than most. A lot of people are still living in either their first home or just a normal home and they're paying them off, and or they're driving their dream car and paid for it in cash, whatever, right? And that's what I wanted to be. A little bit better lifestyle, everything in my life paid for free and clear, and I wanted to help people, right? So a couple of things I wanted to share. Even though the mindset here, let me share my screen. All right. Now I do want to open it up at this point because I just shared my vulnerable story. Let me share a screen. Zoom, share content, share screen. All right. So I'd love to open it up now after sharing that story, because if I've learned anything in Renatus, it's that Renatus, building your brand, building your success story, building your before and after story, whatever it is that you set out to do when you bought Renatus, what it was supposed to do for you. I get that there's this emotional roller coaster in our minds, right? So here, let me do this. July 8th, Wealth Wednesday. And it's so funny because I remember hearing people like Micah Huggins or even Ryan Black or Richard Stock or Scott Rowe or all these big wigs. I remember just hoping to be like one day, sharing all these success stories, right? And I remember going, so here I am, right? And here's you and here's me. And we drop cash, money, hard earned for most of us, right? Yeah, I think I've sold like one or two, maybe three combos where they literally just like had the cash all of a sudden and they're like, yeah, do it, right? And it didn't mean as much. But for most of us, like, dude, that's hard earned money. Like we worked hard, we worked hourly, and we dropped this cash to buy Renatus. And we see the goal, right? This is what I hope this will do.
Daine, we
for
don't
us.
see your screen.
Oh man, did I not share it? Here, let me come back. Share screen, start. Oh, there it is. And bam, go, there we go. All right, back to here. So here we are, we drop money, we buy Renatus. because it's supposed to do something for us, provide, whatever it is, whatever that was for you, fill in the blanks, right? And I remember if I draw my emotional roller coaster, I remember getting crazy excited, and that's why I bought. And I remember right at the time that I handed over my credit cards to the person who enrolled me, and I handed him 4 credit cards, and I said, run them. I remember my emotional state dropping, thinking like, holy crap, what did I just do? I remember going home that night thinking that that's how much money I make in a year, and I have to use that money throughout the year to live. How am I ever going to pay this off if this doesn't work? Like how my wife's going to have a baby in 3 months. And I've heard that those are expensive, and I can attest they are. And so anyway, I remember that emotional state dropping, and then I come back to the next meeting or jump on the morning calls, whatever, and it comes back and, goes back a little bit and goes, and so this over all these years, I've had these emotional roller coasters, ups and downs. Right. And so, and even after this whole Corona thing, I remember Corona hit, and I remember feeling it. And it was funny because I jump on the Wednesday morning calls, and in my mind, I tell myself, like, I have to be the pillar. I have to be the person who is inspiring and leading everybody and sharing the things that are going to help people say, yes, let's do this. Right. And I remember feeling like, oh my gosh, like, what's going to happen? And trying to put on this face of like, 100% confidence. And I remember jumping on the call sometimes on a Wednesday morning, and that morning just being just like, oh my gosh. But you know what? Here's the thing I want to share. Every time I was down here, every time I was down in the dumps, in an emotional state, I would start looking out at other people, at other, in other places, towards other people, essentially. And I would tell myself, exactly that, like, somebody needs a beacon of hope right now. Because if I'm feeling this, if I'm down, somebody needs a beacon of hope. And so, just as the example of like the Wednesday morning calls, I would jump on and I would start. And you know what? I've noticed something. It takes about 8 seconds. It takes 8 seconds for me to start helping people, for that emotional state. Let me change colors here to, I don't know, let's do rainbow. For that emotional state to start skyrocketing, because I'm no longer thinking about myself. I'm starting to think about other people and how I'm here. My purpose is to help other people with this same concept of changing the mindset so that you can get yourself here and you can start working towards that goal, whatever it is, right? 8 seconds. I learned that all I had to do was start, even in the midst of emotional turmoil. Sometimes if I started, it was almost like, and I'm a huge believer in God and, Holy Spirit, Holy Ghost, that kind of stuff. And it seems like when I set out and my purpose is to help somebody else with their own mindset and their own progress towards their goals, God likes that kind of stuff. And so I've noticed that it's just this overwhelming source of power, right? And it doesn't matter what you believe. Like, we all believe that there is things out there, higher power, than us. So it doesn't matter what you believe. But there is this power that you cannot see, that when you start thinking about somebody else and you start, that's it. You start helping. the power comes. The emotional state changes. And it starts working. Because even though you didn't feel it, you started. All right, I don't know why, but last night I was, we got home from out of town, and I couldn't help but feel like I needed to share this. I need to share this today. So whoever that was for, I don't know. I hope a lot of you in the midst of this whole, I don't know what to even call it anymore, but this new era of the United States, people need that beacon. And know, even the leaders that we all follow, none of them have this unicorn of their emotional state staying up here in the clouds, right? Everybody has this, right? This is what makes us human, that our emotional state goes up and down, up and down. The true leader is the one who realizes, you know what? It takes 8 seconds. I will only feel this for 8 more seconds if I start thinking about somebody else and I take action on helping that person or those people, whoever it is, right? So don't let anything in the world stop you from reaching out to help the next person, right? And this is why we teach all the things of say the words, investing in real estate, and start the conversations and book them to the meeting, all the stuff, right? It comes back to this. We're helping people because people need it. Renatus exists because there's a need in our country, right? And pretty soon we'll be able to bring this to the world. But in our country especially, people need this, right? You guys see it. So, all right, let me check comments. But anybody else have something? I'd love to, we got, we can go 5, maybe 10 more minutes here. But, and you know who you are. Anybody have something that they would love some help with? Questions, concerns, mindset, a story even. I'd love to help somebody today. And every time somebody comes out and shares, everybody's grateful that somebody was vulnerable.
Hey,
All right,
Daine.
let's see. What's up? Sherry.
Okay. You're like, I don't want to hear from her. But
No, I love everybody.
no, and I didn't mean that way. But so I had a conversation with someone who contacted me, and then we started talking about real estate. And then I had somebody, I met with her, and then another person, and we had a conversation, and she was really interested. And then she was going to come to like one of the Wednesday night presentations online. And then she contacted me, and she's like, with the economy, the way the economy is right now, I don't want to start moving my money around. Right.
Yeah. I don't want to get into something new.
Exactly. That's that one. And so I'm having lunch with her today just because we were going to have lunch anyway. And like, I get it, because, sometimes people don't want to throw down a lot of money. But the other thing that I was thinking about is she recently bought a house, and she's paying extra money on her house. And I learned that later, but we didn't have a conversation about velocity banking. So I'm just trying to see where I should go for the future with her.
Mm-hmm. So just the things that I'm hearing, and anybody can chime in to the chat if you heard something too, and let me know if you heard this. But the thing that I heard from you was that she's worried about moving money around, meaning you probably started talking investing in real estate, and for some reason the thing that triggered in her mind, and this is not your fault, right? What your job is just to be the detective and figure out what starts stirring inside of them when you say those words. And so she thinks it takes money. She thinks it takes money to invest in real estate. And here, let me see. Let's see. I want to give you a conversation starter by showing you, because I'm a very visual person. But here, let me see if I can pull up a deal that we're picking up just today. Let's see. So here's the deal. We're buying this today. Look at this. Can you see this? Can you guys see my screen? Let me screenshot this so I can make it big.
Oh, no, you know what? I have it really small. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll zoom in here. Look at this. So I am not the wholesaler on this, but look at the wholesale fee that is being charged on this property that we are picking up today to flip. Can you guys see that number there? $38,000 assignment fee, right? So let me ask you, I mean, and so Sherry, you know how much money out of pocket the wholesaler makes, right? Or how much out of pocket the wholesaler comes up with? Not a lot.
Much nothing.
Right?
I get what you're saying.
This wholesaler, right? Me and the guy that is flipping this house with me, we're the ones moving money around. But this wholesaler, he didn't move anything around. He's making 38 grand a day. And I'm okay with it. I'm totally okay with that, because we're gonna go make more flipping the house. So Sherry, today I just gave you a conversation starter, right? This is the actual real estate purchase contract, or assignment fee, or assignment contract for the deal that is actually going down today. Let's see, do I have a date on here? Let's see. This is, I'm not sure when it says. Anyway, we're wiring money in today. In fact, I got to wire money in as soon as this call's over. But in essence, you can tell her, like, in your conversation with her, let me come back to Zoom here. In your conversation, when you sit down with her today, you can say things like, oh my gosh, like, if she says the things about moving money around, like, oh yeah, I remember when you were talking about that. Like, I actually just saw a real estate investor break down how they had made $38,000 and never spent a dime or put a dime towards that property. Didn't even own the real estate, right? And notice that I'm kind of overdoing it on excitement here, on purpose, because she's got to see that you are impressed with the things that you're learning, because you're going to start doing them. And when she sees your excitement, I mean, that's what people really buy these days. I feel like they buy into your emotional state wherever you are, right? And so if you start here, when you sit down with her and you've got all these doubts and whatever, and you don't get yourself up here, and I don't want to say fake it till you make it, but I watched a movie. I got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and so we watched, I think it was a Disney, like an airplane show, that the airplanes can talk, and in the show, they actually said something that I was like, oh my gosh, that's worth sharing. And the guy said to the other airplane that they're trying to like save us. There's like the whole mountainside's on fire, and they're trying to save a bunch of people, or I guess not people, but cars, because cars can talk too. Anyway, so he said, he talks about confidence, and he says the first step in gaining confidence is to act like you are confident. And that just goes back to that principle where I've noticed that when you start acting like you have that confidence, it only takes 8 seconds. In my experience, it takes 8 seconds to start acting when you are out of confidence, to start acting like you are confident, and then confidence follows. You will get this rush of power, if you will. And you start saying things like, oh my gosh, I saw a real estate investor, no money out of pocket. They're making $38,000, today, actually. You can say that because, when you go to lunch with her today, I mean, this deal is going down today, right? Title company's ready to go. We're wiring money in today. and that person is making 38 grand on a wholesale fee. Never owned the property. Bam. All right, so it's telling stories. Get yourself in that emotional high state, because you are there not for you. You are there not for you to make a commission. You are there for her. Your purpose is for her, to help her see the vision, to see the plan, to see that whatever it is that she hopes for, that she does not have right now, we have the vehicle to get her there. And when you believe that, and you start in that first 8 seconds, watch what happens. Watch what happens when you start. And after 8 seconds goes by. And tell us next week, okay? I want you to report back. Everybody on the call that's still here. And we got to wrap it up. We're 5 after.
Okay.
Everybody on the call that's still here, tell me what happens when you do this. When you start 8 seconds in, your purpose is to help them, not you. Tell me what happens. Fair enough?
Yes.
All right. Cool. Love you all. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Let me just check comments here. Awesome. Cool. Thanks, guys. Love you all. Have a great week. I'll see you all next week. Have a good one.